Let's bring in our political editor, Beth Rigby. So we thought this was going to be a pretty challenging Prime Minister's questions for Keir Starmer. He hasn't had the best week, it's fair to say. What did you make of the exchanges between him and Kemi Badenoch?
Well, look, I actually honestly thought Keir Starmer was going to have a much stickier run in that Prime Minister's questions, and I was surprised in a way that he didn't seem to be pinned as effectively by Badenoch as she has in previous weeks, given the volume of material she could have thrown at him. I think it's fair to say that Keir Starmer, having had clearly a near-death experience this week, is in the mode of fighting. And when you talk to MPs at the Parliamentary Labour Party meeting on Monday, I'm told it was raw and honest and emotional. I'm told that he has been very angry this week in private. And I think what you saw there at Prime Minister's questions was he did come out fighting. Like, he really went on the attack with Badenoch when she criticised him. For example, that good exchange at the end where she quite rightly went through the levels of staff that he has gone through in 18 months at number 10, getting rid of chief of staffs and director of comms. And then, of course, he was able to come back with the previous Tory chaos, as he would put it, of the previous administration.
A pre-prepared answer that he clearly had the good numbers down.
Yeah, they both had their numbers down. What I would say on it, though, is the moment that she really did pin him and it was very awkward, and maybe she should have just kept at that, because we know with Keir Starmer, if you keep going at the thing that's awkward for him, in the end, it can cause him difficulties, was the issue of Matthew Doyle and the decision of the Labour government to appoint Matthew Doyle, the former Director of Communications, to the Lords in December. He has since had the Labour whip suspended. This is after it emerged he'd campaigned on behalf of a friend who'd been charged with possessing indecent images of children. The Prime Minister asked about that in the Commons, said that Matthew Doyle didn't give a full account of his actions. That's what the Prime Minister said. And, of course, Badenoch came back with the full account of actions, not accepting that, because there was a front page on the Sunday Times by Gabrielle Pogren, the journalist there, outlining these links between Matthew Doyle on the and Sean Morton on the 27th of December. And this is a really awkward position for the party now, because there are questions about, if this was raised as concerns, why did you still appoint him? And now the Prime Minister's saying, well, he didn't give a good enough account of the actions. And a number of people are saying, well, it was in the public domain. And this goes back to what the charges were about Mandelson, which was it was in the public domain that he kept a relationship. So why did you appoint him? So this is really deeply awkward for Keir Starmer. I should say that Matthew Doyle has apologised and said, following Morton's convictions, this is what Matthew Doyle said: any contact was extremely limited. I've not seen or spoken to him in years. Twice I was at events organised by the people which he attended, and I once saw him to check on his welfare after concerns were raised through others. So I need to, if we're talking about Matthew Doyle, give his right of reply there. But that was the stickiest moment for the Prime Minister. But I am surprised. Anna Sawar, the Scottish Labour leader, called on Keir Starmer to resign this week, and that wasn't raised. I think kind of going in on the Chief of Staff or the Cabinet Secretary, whilst interested in Westminster, I think for viewers watching, it's really Sawar calling for him to go, or someone being appointed to the Lords that had links with a paedophile. They are obviously really, really difficult questions for Keir Starmer.